Hello everyone and welcome to Just the Tips, your personal guide to everything Virgin Island. My name is Chris.
And I'm Rebecca, and on today's show we'll be getting to know our islanders.
I'm 23, still a virgin.
I can't imagine that someone would want to be with me in any way.
And our experts, or as some would call them, sexperts.
Are you self-conscious about our genitals touching each other?
Yeah.
We'll be getting to grips with the wonderful world of orgasms and sex toys.
Yeah.
Like that?
I like that.
And we learn the hard way about rejection and the power of saying no.
No. Let's go.
Now, the whole show is about people who are struggling with intimacy and therefore struggling to lose their virginity. Rebecca, do you think this is a more common occurrence than we think?
Maybe now it is getting to be more common just because of the standards that we hold on sex with social media and porn and things like that. So then if you haven't had sex yet, you're inexperienced. If you have experience, you're a hoe. That's how it is.
You can't win.
You can't win with society. It doesn't matter which way you go with it. You could wait for the right person. You're going to get judged for that. You're going to be seen as, oh, that's person's a virgin.
It's a very, very hard subject to breach for the first
Excuse
time.
the pun. Very hard.
Incredibly hard.
Yeah.
Well, we went out onto the street to ask some of you when you lost your virginity.
I lost my virginity when I was 14 years old. Yeah, I was in secondary school when I lost my virginity.
I was 15 when I lost my virginity.
I was 18 years
I
old.
was 14.
I didn't lose my virginity.
17. 14. It was planned.
At 17, it was all chill. Yeah.
I lost my virginity at 16.
I was 17 years old.
I've not lost my virginity yet.
I feel like a lot of people will be holding back with, getting comfortable with getting undressed in front of people because of what we see every single day on TV, social media and porn. Like, we see this ideal standard that everybody apparently wants.
Yeah.
When that's not actually the case. If they have stretch marks or if they don't feel comfortable with their weight or anything, they'll hold off from taking their clothes off in front of people. I know I've done that a few times when I felt really insecure.
And that might be maybe one of the reasons that our islanders have waited a little bit longer, just because there's so much external pressure.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say I probably lost my virginity younger than most of my friends. I don't think there was too much of a stigma, particularly with... Actually, no, I think there was, it's like, kind of friendly banter kind of side of... There's definitely peer pressure, but not like proper bullying, I wouldn't say, in my social groups. But yeah, if someone I guess now still hadn't lost their virginity, they would probably get ripped apart a bit by their mates, yeah, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like if you're a virgin and you're past 16, 17, 18, then people sort of look at you funny. I remember when I was younger and I was probably 16, I hadn't had sex and I told someone and they thought that was really strange. There must be something wrong with you because of that.
So we've got to talk about our experts on the island, or as I like to call them, sexperts. But I think maybe they prefer to go as sex coaches.
I actually went on a sex coach once.
Did you?
Yeah, it was nothing like what you're talking about. But it was lovely.
Did you get to where you needed to go?
Yeah, we'll say that.
We're so excited to start our workshops today. And the first phase of this course is desire and letting shame go.
Well, we have Dr. Celeste and Dr. Danielle, who I think are absolutely fabulous, and they're kind of leading the sessions. And then we have some surrogate partners.
Yes, it's a crazy concept.
Yes.
I assumed that obviously the islanders would start to connect with each other more, but there's actual experts in place in which these islanders are connecting with. It wasn't quite what I was expecting, but I'm not the expert.
They're almost practiced people, and they're all there on the island to help our islanders get in touch with their vulnerabilities, to break out of their shell, to find more confidence.
Yeah, and to help them be more intimate. Do you think it would be more enjoyable having an actual expert teaching you how to do this thing for the first time? Or do you think, you'd feel more comfortable with somebody, obviously not on the same level, but just a little bit higher? We've got a literal expert here for you.
I think I'm the type of person that I don't really like independent learning. I like, this is what you do, X, Y, Z, You
Yeah.
go and do it now. So the thought of having somebody kind of spell it out for me, I'm kind of into, not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think also because there's such little education
Yeah,
about
there is,
sex and
definitely.
and especially when you're in your late teens, early 20s, when you're all just fumbling around trying to give it a go and, learning from porn, learning from what your friend's older
Yeah.
brother did.
I guess we have, we don't think that we've learned from anything because we've not had these experts, but what
Yeah.
we've actually learned from is unrealistic expectations like porn.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that, a lot of men out there have learned from porn and haven't quite caught on how to do it yet.
Yeah.
So maybe we could put them in touch with the experts.
Well, and-
everybody needs a sex expert.
Everybody needs a sex expert, and there is science behind everything they do. They're all trained in the somatica method. It's all about the body. It's all about practical. So basically, putting your body where your mouth is.
Oh,
and getting
I like that.
I liked that as well. I just
That
came
made
up
me
with
tingle.
that.
I think pornography has such a big effect because it sets these really kind of scary expectations where choking seems okay and so many kinks and different parts of BDSM that not everyone would necessarily be okay with. And I feel like that could scare people away from sex sometimes because it's just like, wow, this is very intense. I might not be ready for this.
And some people that are maybe too young might think that this is the reality, which is really not.
Pornography, I think, has affected my sex life quite positively because I choose to watch only trans porn, so it made me more comfortable in my body and how to interact with other trans bodies.
I think porn is very badly influential on a lot of sex nowadays. Unbelievably unrealistic, and just, I don't know, I think it really depicts just people in a very bad way. And for people who are just starting out, I don't think that's probably one of the biggest things that makes people feel bad for being virgins.
Pornography has definitely made it a lot more uncomfortable about your body because you see a certain body type and it's all meant to be perfect. You're supposed to be quite petite, and it's definitely not like that in the real life.
So the thing I want to talk about is how quickly these guys were thrown into it. So the Desire workshop, that was not for the faint-hearted. That was straight into the deep end, hands up against the wall, and lots of mixed emotions from the islanders as well.
Absolutely. I feel for some of them it was a very abrupt, quick shock therapy start to the whole island experience.
Yeah, I was like, buy them a drink first
I know.
or something. Wow.
Take them for dinner.
Yeah, please.
The level of inexperience is clear, so Celeste and Danielle decide to test how the group reacts to intense intimacy.
We saw Emma had a particularly emotional reaction, but that kind of led into her one-to-one session. We saw that she was even struggling to have the gentlest of touch from the sex coach, the tiniest, hand up the thigh. But then when it was too much, she did say, that's too much and you need to stop. So she did learn from the rejection workshop as much as she could.
She knows to set her boundaries and stick to them, and that's just as important as it is, trying to work out why it is that you've not had sex yet. But if you're uncomfortable, I've been in situations, obviously I've had sex lots of times, but I find it harder to say no and stop. And
totally.
Fair play to Emma, obviously, we all have our strengths.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people obviously experience childhood bullying and stuff, and not even just, through friends, but also siblings and parents as well. There's so many parents that can pass down this feeling of not being good enough, and obviously you carry that through with you for your whole entire life. And I think it's clear that's what Emma's doing here with obviously her friends calling her the designated ugly fat friend. She's much older now, she's moved on from that period in her life, but she still remembers the exact name that she was called at school, and it's obviously brought her here today. How common do you think that is? How common do you think it is that people get called names and it literally stays with you forever?
Oh, I think it's got to be every other person or more. I think everyone has experienced some kind of some kind of name calling or some kind of, social negative interaction when they were younger. And I think everyone is going to bring insecurities and everyone's going to bring remnants of their childhood into their teenage lives, their 20s, their 30s. And you hope that people can, grow and move on and, get therapy or be able to leave behind those shadows from the past. But it is very, very hard. I know I have, lots of insecurities from, my teenage years and younger, that sometimes you can silence them and they can be quieter, but sometimes they still, rear their ugly heads every so often. So it's really, really tough. And I really, give her a lot of props for trying to grow from her past on telly. It's tough.
Yeah. I suppose there's a lot more healthier way of dealing with it. I mean, I've dealt with my insecurities by going under the knife. I think obviously Emma dealing with her insecurities by talking about them and seeing sex experts and things like that is much healthier, because it is obviously an issue with the brain. It's not an issue with the body. We can change our body as many times as we want. It's always going to still be there that you're not good enough. So yeah, fair play to her for doing this the right way, I think.
Good for you, Emma. We love you. Something that was really, really touching, I think, this episode was the exercise in letting go of the past. They were letting go of some of their items from their past failures.
This is a gift that my only ex got me. I didn't really think it meant that much, and I should have thrown it out a while ago.
These things have a lot of sentimental value to these people, clearly. But it's not none of them seem to have happy memories of these objects. They're not bringing back any happiness to them when they're looking at them.
Yeah.
It just seems to be hurt, and it's really heartbreaking to hear the stories behind each object.
A lot of baggage that you can really hold on to. I mean, I'm guilty of holding on to cards and a teddy or, anything, photos on your phone.
Still sleeping in your ex's T-shirt,
Exactly.
7 years on.
8 years, yeah. But what you've got to do, for my advice, get rid of the presents.
Yep.
Get
I
rid
agree
of
with that.
everything that they delete the photos off your phone.
Unless they're worth money, then you should take them
Sell
too.
them. Yeah. Hold on to it. Yeah. But I think that was maybe really, really healing, especially when they were putting them in the fire.
Yeah, that was
very magical.
I've never done that before. I would like to see how that feels, to just burn something. Yeah, of my exes.
We've done it on a Galentine's Day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, was it relieving?
I think so. We just set the fire alarm off though. So.
Oh, okay.
I wish we could have been there. I mean, I know we saw it on camera, but I wish we could have felt the energy when the 12 islanders who have never even, some of them haven't even had an orgasm, suddenly see a big box of butt plugs on the table.
I can imagine
just
the energy just from the vibration alone.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? I mean, I don't know what I started with. It'd be really, really interesting to see how many of them have, already experienced themselves before, because I think experiencing yourself comes before you go on to pleasure other people or receive pleasure from other people. So I say, Ann Summers party, sex toy party all round.
Yeah.
Everybody gets the vibe on.
Just get into it.
I don't want to touch it.
I don't think this has been inside. I don't know if it's been inside anyone.
I know we were quite surprised when, some of the islanders had said they hadn't even masturbated or haven't even given themselves an orgasm, which the two of us
I think that
have.
No,
sorry, I can't
for
speak.
yourself.
I'm not going to speak for Rebecca.
Speak for yourself.
I personally have given myself many orgasms, and it's fabulous. You should try.
They were not tame sex toys. They were not sex toys that you use for a first time.
No.
You don't think, right, okay, this is my first time being horny. Here's a butt plug. Straight up there.
I know.
That's not really how it works.
That's
but they
level
are
2 or 3, I would say.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, these are fun.
That was another whole layer to, the sort of insecurity and the big space between.
It takes it way past how somebody else views you.
Yeah,
and,
it's how you view yourself, and
yeah.
if you haven't even climbed this mountain, how are you going to climb the next one?
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to climb everything soon. I hope they are.
They better. We are seated and waiting for them to climb the mountains.
I've never been so excited for people to have sex in my life.
Well, I think that's all we've got time for this week on Just the Tips. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being here, Rebecca.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been an absolute delight. Join us next time when we will be dipping our tips into the world of erotic touch. See ya.
Bye.